let's see if it goes live. Let's see if we get the...
Does it say, am I supposed to get a notification now?
If you get one, we want to know from you guys, is there audio? That is always the first question here. So when we go live, stop streaming. It says, it got a green light there. We're green here. I bet that's a notice for live. It says we're live.
There's audio.
Okay, that's all that matters. There's audio, and I'm going to turn my phone off, because I'm going to be that guy.
That guy.
I'm not. My phone's still on.
So welcome to Vlog Thursday,
Isn't your phone
that
on
I didn't
vibrate?
make a proper title for. We said Xeon on fire, because that is
It wasn't
the
on
question.
fire.
I know it wasn't. And I wanted to clarify that, because I clearly was not clear in the video where me and Steve dissected the server.
Do we have to send it back?
No.
Then we could light it on
We
fire.
can light it on fire.
I'm gonna light it on fire.
We're
We're going to light it on fire.
I got that big propane blowtorchy thing.
We do have a blowtorch. So,
Flamethrower.
the server blew up, and this is the Xeon that died inside of there. And I did a quick video on it. Everyone's saying, hey, it must be a thermal problem. This server was immaculate. It's clean. I don't know. It's just...
And you know it's bad because it's got an X on it, and that's just like when it dies in the cartoons.
Yeah, just like it dies in the cartoons.
Yeah.
It's dead. So that's what happened there. So that was our...
Immaculate
That's why it says Xeon on fire. The Xeon was not on fire. But I don't know. We don't have any idea why it went bad. I find it odd. When I talked to the support engineer at Server Monkey, they said, it happens.
It
It's
happens.
rare. But I guess when you're dealing with it at the volume they see it happen. I just rarely see motherboard problems. Most of the problems are like hard drives and power supplies. That's like server problems in a nutshell.
I mean, the
Besides
highest,
Windows itself.
Yeah.
That's...
the highest temperature in that area was 83, so not even anything crazy.
Yeah, and then the server logs say they never really had a thermal event, so So that's kind of the final debrief, end of story on that server. Steve is excited because the Steam sale is coming. And this
It's here.
No, it's
Oh,
already
it's here?
here. And it's less exciting once it started.
Yeah, it was
Oh.
pretty depressing.
It's pretty depressing.
It's sad this year.
I don't play video games much.
Yeah.
These guys do. With the exception of, I'll find a game and I'll get addicted to it. I have a decent amount of hours into Diablo. I played the hell out of
Yeah,
Diablo
I would
for
say
about 6 months.
It's not fair to say that you don't play video games much. You don't play a lot of different video games.
Yeah.
No.
You find one you like, and then you obsess with it, like most things.
Yes, I'm definitely like, I find a thing I like and then I obsess with it. Ahoy from Denmark. What language do they speak there? What language do you speak in Denmark? Oh, am I looking
Danish?
Danish? I don't know. I don't know any words in that language. That's interesting. Anyways, before I lost my train of thought, no, I've been obsessing lately with Destiny and Destiny 2 specifically. That game I like a lot. I've been playing it every night.
It's I.
It's alright. They say it's alright. I don't know. I just found a game I like, so yes, we speak Danish. Awesome. We're American. We don't know.
We don't have to know. They don't teach us these in our schools.
Yeah, we only know one language. These guys aren't here in the vlog too much. That's kind of why I said, hey, why not be here? Because we've been working all day, kind of, sort of. Steve's been
Off
doing
and
server
on.
things.
I don't
Lots of
know what I
server-
do.
Yeah.
Driving around today.
Driving
you
around,
You weren't here much today.
No, I wasn't.
plugging in Wi-Fi, fixing Active Directory,
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
Or at least discovering more of what's wrong with it.
I figured out what's wrong with it. Hey, look, phone. Bye.
Oh, Steve's taking that? Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
They're going to take turns answering calls. No
That
one else
one-
is here
that happens.
on the other side of the wall. I'm
Okay.
supposed to be somewhere, and I don't think the people... I actually... Maybe Jessica's watching.
Sure.
I'm supposed to be at a board meeting.
Okay.
But I have a lot of things going on, and I had to do a vlog, and I have another remote support thing. So
I guess the question is, do they subscribe to you? Because if so, they know.
they learned English in the 3rd or 4th grade. Wow. It's a good thing you learn English, though, because...
We're not learning other languages.
No, we're not learning other languages, and also, we're not good at English. That's actually...
There are a lot of non-native English speakers that are at a higher proficiency of English speaking than we are.
Very much so. Me and Kyle were just discussing, I did not know until this moment, a few moments before the vlog started, the difference between capital and capital. Capital with an AL and capital with an OL.
There's one money and one geographic.
It turns out, one is the capital, well actually, does Steve know
What?
the difference between capital and capital? And capital with an AL, capital with an OL.
Yeah, they're spelled different.
Yeah, see, this is English is hard. It turns out one is the capital of a state, the other one is the capital dealing with the Capitol building where legislative things happen.
Wow, so they're actually closer. Okay.
Yeah, and but I don't know which way you spell capital. Like I need money.
What one's like when I make the first letter big?
Yeah, and I don't know. Now,
English is hard.
English. The fact that you guys even take the time to learn our completely messed up language.
How
that
we
has,
spell gray versus how they spell gray in England.
Well, no, or it gets better. Like
Color.
Record. Yeah, color.
There's a U in there
Flavor.
somewhere.
Well, they just had used everything.
Yeah.
They just had used everything. That's a different problem. So, anyways, before we get on a topic that we really don't know a lot about, we can only profess our ignorance.
Look, I think that might actually be the most fun Vlog Thursday.
Yeah.
We just talk about something we know nothing about.
Yeah.
Help us learn a new language.
Help
Yeah.
us learn a new language. The only language you really know is firewalls. Outside of that, we're kind of confused. Active Directory, support, Xeon servers. Know all that stuff. Things with acronyms. That's our daily job.
But we talked about this before. We don't always know what the acronym means.
I almost said what's an acronym because I wasn't 100% sure what an acronym is.
Yeah. But
But you know what a synonym is.
Well, we also get we also
That's
get
a
the
word that
discussion-
means like another similar word.
Yeah.
Yeah, synonym roles.
What's kind of fun too is we go off on a lot of tangents
Like
of things
grammar
like we
What?
just were talking. Me and Kyle were talking about elliptic curve encryption and TLS authentication and keys and all that fun stuff. That's yeah. I mean, sometimes it gets confusing to remember what all the different acronyms mean.
They talk about the serious things. I'm just kind of here.
Yeah, but we did set up, and this has come up a couple times on the channel. We did set up a new Dell server. So yes, I know. If you have the budget, it's great to go buy a brand new fancy big server that
Why?
costs like $9,000-$10,000.
No.
Well, they have the budget for it.
I guess all the budget on the Dell server is the hard drives, though.
Yeah.
That's what kills you.
Yes.
If you're willing to take the risk, use your own drives. You'll save a lot of money. You can still get a new one.
Yeah. How much storage did that server have you just installed? Effective storage.
Effective storage, 29 and some change terabytes.
Okay.
It's
One of our clients, it comes back to
6 8 terabyte drives, 5 of them together in a RAID 5 with one drive as a dedicated hot swap because the RAID controller didn't support RAID 6.
Yeah. So we do a lot of setups like that, but there's not. I talked about it like maybe I'd review it because this server actually stopped by the shop to be loaded, which we also learned about the way the school volume licensing works when you're on that program.
They had the wrong version, actually. It might have worked.
Oh, okay.
They kept telling me they bought Data Center. They got Core.
So when you load data center and then try and activate it with a non-data center key,
That
It
becomes
gets
a whole
mad.
other issue. Yeah.
And you load it a few times.
And I've had a few people request that I do more videos on Windows stuff, and maybe I will. I don't know. I have a complete and utter lack of interest
What
in
kind of Windows stuff?
it. Like, people ask about loading
Cleaning.
Windows and setting up Hyper-V and
opening.
opening Windows.
No, that's how the bugs get in. I
Yes.
on you guys about that.
Nah, they
Yeah.
had bugs from the beginning.
Yeah. So I'm just not a. I don't know. I might do one on RDP and Duo. Oh,
Yes.
thank you very much, Uncle Ski.
If you're using RDP, you should be using Duo or a VPN, or you're just wrong.
Yeah. Yes. Now this comes down to some advice I give people. We just did a PF Sense job. I did one an hour ago with 14 public IPs and a bunch of settings and lots of servers, but it's just like the guy's like, oh, I just want to do one-to-one and open my Windows 2003 server as a one-to-one NAT and a public IP. I'm like, this is a horrible idea. I said, I'll do it. I said, but I just want to make sure you're aware that this is a bad idea.
Because it comes back to the servers that we manage. We can actually see how many failed logins. Luckily, it has two-factor, but they hit that thing over the course of
6,000 times a day?
over the course of 24 hours. I've seen up to like 11,000 failed logins on one publicly available server.
Yeah.
That's why we had to turn on two-factor, because it was just a matter of time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the numbers are staggering. Like, do not just publicly expose things. It's weird some of the requests I get for stuff like that, but I'm like, I will still do it. Well, technically, I'm like, you're enabling it, not me. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll put
Yeah.
the rule in, you click apply. Therefore, you're responsible for the disaster that will occur of the 9,000 people logging
We
in.
had a client who has a software, and the software company said, you shouldn't do it this way. And then they call us, well, can we set it up this way? Just so we're all on the same page. You are aware the software company said don't do it that way. Yeah, but we've tried it and it seems to work just a little slower. But you are aware they said don't do it that way.
Yes.
Yes. Long as we're clear.
Okay.
As long as we're clear on this. And what it was, we built a VPN across 3 sites for the client. So they have one head-end server, a VPN to all the remote offices. Well, not really remote offices. They're all
relatively local. They're all within the
and they're big offices.
same county.
All in the same county. And each office, centrally logs in, and they wanted to log into RDP. That was the recommendations of the software company, because if you, it's a crappy written program as far as I'm concerned. When I looked at it, it looks like crap. It looks like the 90s. Like they never got off of the very first version
They
of
threw this
Visual
thing
Basic.
together pretty quick.
They pay like $20,000 a year in licensing fees for it. I know. That's what I said too. But it's just stupid. It's just like, they set it up. They said they want you to RDP in each person. So we actually had built them. Ordered a really high-end Dell. This is a Dell server too, isn't it? Yeah, Dell server with, I don't know. It's got like 48 gigs of RAM or something like that.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I haven't looked at it in
it's
so
rather,
long.
It's
It has
rather
specs.
high-end, and it's got specs. And we set up RDP for it, but we didn't want to publicly expose it. And they're all RDPing from these branch offices, so it's a nice setup, and it is working fine. But they like the fact that having it on their desktop directly.
Well, it's so they can scan from their local scanners directly into it. Because it's a nightmare to attach a file, because they have to scan it to their local desktop, copy it over to the server under their user, and then from there put it into the program. They want to be able to just run the program for the purpose of scanning locally directly into it and cut a handful of steps out. So I do get that.
Yeah, so I mean, I get the purpose for wanting to do it, but the clients, because
Software company says
software
They're
don't.
going against.
don't. It's
Yeah.
client server based, and if there's a disruption in a connection, you'll end up with a bunch of corrupt files. So that's definitely
Back it up frequently.
back it up frequently, and the backups are stupid on it too, but that's a whole nother topic. I don't know. But people have bad ideas. Sometimes we got to talk them off a little bit.
That's actually been something that you've talked about a bit recently, of just different clients that want networks set up in ways that you say
No,
it's not a good
that's-
idea. I'm just letting you know. I don't recommend doing it this way, but I can.
I had a client say they had this idea that they were going to reformat all the computers and shrink down the
People were
C
saving
volume,
files
because all the people at the company were saving files locally to their hard drive and not on the server. So he was going to shrink the partition, and then that way they would be forced to save it on
because they wouldn't have room on the C drive.
on a D drive on that partition that he could then at least have a backup of. And I'm like, no, they're all still going to save them to their desktop, fill up the C drive, cause a problem. You're unless you're there to supervise them and tell them you got to put it on the server, they're not going to do it. You need to just set up document redirection so it does it itself. And he's like, what's that? Okay, well, let's start there.
Yeah.
I get why you thought this was a good idea, but it's not a good idea.
Yeah, people come up with some ridiculous things, and because we also offer consulting on networking and things like that for the other IT people, some of them have some weird ideas, and it kind of like. And I don't mind. I'm not making fun of people, but some of them are just like, I think it should be done this way, and they get really indignant about it, but they don't have reasons. And
Why would you do that?
Like, why? Well, I don't know. This is the way it should be done. I'm like, but how did you come up with it? Like, I know the people that work at high levels in industry that write some of this open source software. I'm like, this is not how they planned anyone to implement this.
No.
Right.
So yeah, that's a unfortunately big part of our job. But we do offer consulting services if you just, I like it better when someone comes with and says, I don't know, but I want to learn. Way easier than people who dictate to me. And I don't mind. I mean, I'll do whatever, but they always like start with this level of confidence. And I'm like,
And then you feel almost bad because you got to knock them down a peg or two and then build them back up. Like, well, everything you said is wrong.
Yeah.
That's a great idea, but let me tell you why.
By the time we end this phone call, you're going to know the right way to do this. That's just like I talked to a guy today, and I'm like, before I work on the server, could you make a backup of it? And it's virtual. So he uses a software to create a backup, and I sent him, they're using vSphere. I sent him the vSphere article on how to take a snapshot because he'd never done it. I go, oh, there's a whole little article here on how to do it. He goes, and you can do that while it's live? I've never done this. I go, oh yeah, you can do it live, on, off, however you want to do it, you do it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Virtualization's magic.
Yeah.
And, it's the same thing. Someone, I'm not calling them out specifically, but I was very rational, but they think it's better to run it on hardware than virtual. They have an old piece of hardware, a slow piece of hardware. They want to pay me to set up all this stuff on it. And I'm like, that would be better virtual. By the way, it's the wiki system I have. I said, also, I have a virtual machine. You can download it for free and run it virtually. I've already did the trouble of writing it.
We already built it.
Yeah. But they want it built from scratch on raw hardware. And I'm just like, that's actually something I did. Usually I say we, and Steve's like, I did it.
Yeah, we built a wiki ISO. Him. We built all this stuff around the shop. Me.
That's Steve. Steve does build physical things. Tom screws everything up.
If it's digital or logical or involves acronyms, he did it. If it's something physical, I did it.
Probably. I have another video that I will release tomorrow. I just kind of haven't edited it yet. I was going to release it today and just didn't have time. We interviewed Michael Lucas yesterday, which was a lot of fun. And he's such an interesting person. There's different ways you can find Michael Lucas. And by the way, it's Michael W. Lucas, because if you just search Michael Lucas, you may find a porn star. Not the porn star Michael Lucas, for anyone wondering.
Could we interview that one?
Well, on a related note, one of our suggestions, and I won't spoil the whole interview with Michael Lucas, he's a writer, author of some amazing books. He didn't just write the book on the ZFS file system, he wrote 2 of them.
Should we get both the Michael Lucases together and present the other Mike Lucas with the Michael Lucas we interviewed script for Linux Erotica?
If you Google Linux Erotica, you will find Michael Lucas,
the author,
the
not
author,
the porn star.
because he wrote the only book that you'll find under the category of Linux Erotica. It's called Savage by System D, which is a great name. And we're like, wait a minute, could you at some point collaborate with the porn star Michael Lucas?
And then my floppy drive became a hard drive.
Yeah. Yeah. Man. So that's just a whole nother thing. But the interview was fun. We discussed his books, his history of writing, the fact that he's a full-time writer. His books, if you are getting into technology and need to learn certain specific things, like SSH or FreeNAS, not specifically FreeNAS, but ZFS, he just is a wealth of knowledge, and his books are wonderful if you're a system administrator. And he's got a real fun way of writing, and he's very snarky with the comments, which make it that much fun.
He is nice.
Oh yeah. He's
you guys were way more excited though, because I don't think Kyle even knew he was, and I'm practically illiterate. So
yeah. So, but we'll have links to all his books and everything like that to the article. There is, it's kind of funny because we're joking.
He's written a lot of books.
A lot of books.
So many books.
So many books. We carded them.
Not even all in English. Like some of them are. He brought some of the translated ones. That was kind of cool.
Dong.
Yep. Oh, ding dong. See your turn, Kyle?
Yeah, he answered the phone.
Yeah, he answers the phone. Kyle's dealing with.
Wait, it's Jeremy. I think it's Jeremy.
It's Jeremy?
Gotta go through.
Is it Jeremy?
I don't know.
Oh, it's Eric.
Oh, it's Eric.
Oh, hey Eric, join us.
Intern Eric, come join.
It's one of our interns.
It's live.
Yeah, Eric's going to join us for Vlog Thursday. So let's
sweet. As he takes Kyle's chair.
Yeah.
You better drag a chair over, Kyle.
I was gonna say Kyle can just have my chair. I'll stand.
You can tell we're a little bit disorganized today. I was out of town for a couple days last week.
I don't know what you're gonna say.
We're not the kind of people
The
who have
level.
plans.
No, we didn't plan. We do plan like our work. This is why we completely don't plan this.
We're too busy planning work. That's why this. Actually, that was my comment to Kyle when I got back today. Because the school job has been an ongoing thing since, because we started discussing this back in like December. So every piece, because I've been handling it, was in place. I was there maybe an hour to literally just plug the server in and go, and it all just went right away because everything was detailed and done beforehand. So I had a plan, and it all went right. And things were great.
Yeah.
And then I brought their old server back, and now I gotta do it all again.
Oh man.
All over again.
Yep.
With their old server. And, we like those type of projects when we can have the planning. I'm going to comment on someone that Steve has about lost his mind with, and I thought it was me. And it's
Wait,
just,
is this?
we know who we're talking about.
Yeah. So I'm not going to say the customer's name, but I mean, the guy just needs to settle down and tell me one thing he wants done. I pass it off to Steve.
Put everything in order. Get your
I've-
thoughts in order.
I've had phone calls with him, and finally, I fixed one of his issues, and I told him, talk to me again in a few days. We're done for now.
Yeah.
Let's see how this did. You have to slow down because you're going to create more problems. You're trying to start every project at once. In the words of Ron Swanson, don't half-ass two things, whole-ass one thing.
Yes. And the guy just... Now, to give you an idea of how bad the network is, the good news is the guy knows he needs help.
Yeah.
The network, I wish I could share a
And
picture.
he's helpful. Like once you kind of rein him in a bit, and you get like, this is what we're doing today. He's really focused about it, and he'll go do it. And when I finally got all the answers from him, and part of it, he gave us a lot of the info, and we didn't know because when
Some of it may have been in multiple tabs. in
yeah,
an
he
Excel
sent it all.
workbook.
He sent it in a spreadsheet with tabs, and we didn't know because we use the Google preview doesn't show all that, so we didn't realize all the info was there.
So to be clear, Google Docs shows tabs just
Yeah.
fine, but when you open it in an email, it only previews the first page in the
Yes.
workbook, and so somebody didn't check to see if there were other pages.
Two people didn't
Two
know.
people.
Hey, we like Google Docs. Sorry, we don't run anything Microsoft.
Yeah. So once I got all the answers, and I finally took a look at their network, I'm like, just go unplug this cable and let's see what happens. He goes there, he unplugs it. Oh look, problems all went away.
They have so many switches rigged together, plugged in, that it's spanning tree across 3 or 4 devices.
I actually don't think. I
Say
think
the network threw you for a loop.
Yeah. I don't. It was a weird loop. It wasn't a complete loop because there was a router in the way. But for some reason, we're not sure why they have 2 Comcast routers.
They don't know either.
Yeah, nobody's sure. We think Comcast just left one.
They don't normally
But is it
do
plugged
that.
in? Mm-hmm.
It was plugged into the switch, and then the switch also goes to the their firewall, which is in the same IP range and actually the same IP as the other Comcast gateway.
Okay.
So we think items were getting confused, going to the Comcast router, waiting to fail, and then failing over to the old firewall.
Networking is fun.
It is.
Yeah.
Just
I'm
like
already confused.
another potential client who thinks they have at least 25 network devices somewhere in their drop ceilings. Not in the same spot.
That was my meeting yesterday.
Throughout a complex. So
They
far,
only
maintenance
have
has
100
counted.
They have 100 users. So,
Yeah.
but they've counted so far that they found in drop ceiling 25. That's an impressive number
Is
of
that just-
switches.
Oh,
And that's just
switches.
manually.
Wow.
That's just manually going around lifting a drop ceiling
Now I
tile
know.
and
You know
looking
which
at it.
client it is.
I know who it is now.
Yeah,
I'm like, I haven't
this
heard
is-
of this. Oh wait, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
They
And
want, so the maintenance guy is doing something. I mean, it's just we're working with them. What they want to do is just have some consulting work. They've kind of realized that it's gotten too out of control, and they realize they need to. So they're at that.
They got to
point
rein
of
it back in.
rein
Yeah.
it back in, and we're working with some consulting on them on there. And this is something interesting. Apparently, the other IT companies that have went in there are not like us because their answer is rip it all out. We do it top to bottom. Here's your $50,000 quote.
Yeah.
And there's no in between. You're like, no, we have. They've actually bought some newer
Yeah,
equipment.
the
They
best
just
part
haven't
is
got it all configured yet.
The new stuff they've bought is UniFi equipment, Ubiquity
My
equipment.
Ow.
So
I'm stuck on Kyle.
they have the correct equipment. They just don't quite know
You
how to
weren't in
set
my
it up
way.
and get everything reined in.
Yep. So and we don't mind doing like the piecework consulting stuff like that. So it's fine. It's as much as we would prefer. I mean, great if they had a $50,000 budget,
Yeah.
but they're very open.
The reason they're talking to us is because they don't quite want to pay the $50,000 to completely gut everything.
Yeah.
They've already got equipment.
Yeah, and I actually met with their financial controller. We had a good meeting and everything else. So it's not. It's all good and on the up and up. They just like, hey, cool. I mean, we would love to rip everything out and start over, but we're a big running company that can't afford to do that. So
Yeah.
we're looking for a more rational approach to it, and we're fine with that. One comment I'll be on the other disorganized network that we found the loop in. I can't share it because I care a lot about privacy, but when they first sent me a picture of the network, I don't know if
I think I know what picture you're talking about.
Picture, a nice rack mounted on the wall. So somewhere in the very early days of this network, it was started to be built right. As things started to go wrong, they started buying box fans and stacking them on the very top of the rack to force air down to cool off the equipment because they realized by doing that it would quit overheating.
It's actually amazing. There's like a box fan up top and a box fan underneath to try and exhaust stuff out.
To exhaust it away. So they've just bought like Walmart square box fans. Turns out a box
Good news
fan,
is they're almost the right size.
Yeah.
Like they're what, like 2U or something. They fit.
you stare at it a second. It's kind of cool. It fits right on the rack.
It
It's
looks
actually-
rack mountable.
It's like a rack-mounted box fan. it's not the solution I'd
The
recommend.
Exhaustotron 3000.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey, a fan's a fan, right?
yeah. We're not a huge fan of that cooling solution, but it works.
Yeah. Oh man. ESX listed. So I'm catching up on the messages here. Yeah. XCPNG for those of you asking about the. I'm all in on XCPNG for virtualization. I've talked a lot about this. I have more videos coming on it because I ordered another server. Part of it for a demo that's going to be done on getting started. I did these with CitrixZen server. I'm doing it now with XCPNG. So it'll be.
We
another
started with
in-depth
Citrix
tutorial.
and then kind of just evolved.
Yeah, well, Citrix devolved. See, Citrix goes, we want a license for all the things you do. And
All the
everything
things you used to do, too.
Yeah, that you used to do. So, we moved over to XCPNG, and now you don't need a license for all those things.
And it's been working great, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah. Other than this processor dying, which had nothing to do
Not
with XCPNG.
its fault.
Matter of fact, XCPNG is made it really easy. We just moved everything over to the other VM, passed it over, run it on that VM, swap the processor, pass it back over. So... don't use, well, here, iSCSI versus NFX SCPNG. I have a video on talks about that, I think, for Citrix. Use iSCSI if you're using FreeNAS, and it has to do because FreeNAS uses ZFS. ZFS is copy on write, and it's the way the write commits are done on NFS. You'll have a bad time. You need to set up a S-Log drive to make it faster, and it still won't work right. If you do iSCSI, your problems will just go away and it'll work.
As
So
long as
definitely use
everything's plugged in
iSCSI.
correctly.
As long as, oh yes, yes. Make sure the iSCSI is plugged in correctly.
All the way in until it
Yeah,
clicks.
Steve did not click in the SFP Plus, and we thought we were having all kinds of problems.
There have been, what was it, like 2 weeks where we couldn't figure out why randomly we would just have really high I.O. weight.
Yeah, it turns out one of the cable's loose. So that happens. Do we turn down clients? Was a query walked away from client business? Nope, and out of there all the time. I've noped my way out of a lot of places.
We've had to.
Matter of fact, we just fired a client. We did a video specifically on the firing of that client.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
We were happy to fire that client. We about noped out of there from the beginning because. So the financial person who was the controller of that company when we first met with them, I'd worked with her previously. She no longer worked there about a month after we signed on the client. And the more we interacted with him, the less we liked him. So when he finally wanted us gone, it was a little bit of a debate, and we didn't want to capitulate with anything he had to say. So he's like, well, I don't want you guys. We're like, well, we're fine with that. He thought we would counter. He's but nothing.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I want your software installed. Oh, don't worry. It will turn off automatically because you don't like paying the bill anyways.
Yep.
Do not virtualize FreeNAS. How's that for my answer? So don't. FreeNAS runs raw on hard drives. That's how it's designed to. You do not pass it through a RAID controller. That will cause you a bad time. Throwing it out there. If you look at the way TrueNAS is built, it takes the controller, the SAS controller, and directly controls it. TrueNAS is the enterprise version. So you can take your cues for anything those folks at TrueNAS are doing and apply it to a consumer-grade hardware, and it works pretty good. Or like if you buy a JBOD from 45 Drives, like the Storinator, which is a pretty damn sweet thing. If someone wants to buy one and send one to me, I'd love to review it.
There you go.
I just want one.
Yeah.
But those devices, it's the same thing. It's like a pass-through. The FreeNAS is going to interact directly with the controller to control all the drives. You don't want to put some layer in between. So
Now, how do you handle getting rid of 45 drives, though? Do you have to get a Crushinator?
you got to get a Crushinator.
Crushinator.
I like it. And matter of fact, we have a Crushinator. We can call it the Crushinator.
Well, we can name it the Crushinator.
It's got a different name, but it's that. So that's hopefully helpful. Yeah, FreeNAS, iSCSI, NFS bad. And NFS is not. I don't like the protocol that much, anyways. It's kind of old. It's getting somewhat deprecated. I mean, NFS 4 came out, but it's not as easy to configure. Everything, so many things support iSCSI, and a few things support Fiber Channel. I'm not going there. I don't like. I mean, I don't say I don't like Fiber Channel, but Fiber Channel's a pain in the butt. If you ever spend any time configuring it, you go, wow, this is hard. iSCSI, even though there's a lot of options, you can set it up in a couple minutes on FreeNAS. I walk through people setting it up. It's like, leave this at default, leave this at default, say yes, say yes, give this controller name, your iSCSI works. There you go. That's it. I've created iSCSI. Oh, you want to create another hard drive in iSCSI? Only go to the very last tab and hit add another drive, and you can creating drives in iSCSI. It's actually really, really easy. They made it very, very simple in FreeNAS. It just looks complicated because you're like, wait, there's 4 tabs of data.
Yeah, but it's like a wizard. You just leave it at default and
Yeah,
go.
literally the default.
Yeah,
But
I agree. Go, go, go.
kind of yeah, I agree. Give it each little section a name. But I'll be doing a new video on it when I set up the other one because I'll do probably just a specific walkthrough. I'm trying to make some more compartmentalized videos that are shorter.
Yeah,
that are
break
like
it down
just,
some more.
Yeah, broken down videos because they're handy because I know not everyone wants to watch an hour of me babbling about FreeNAS. Some people do. I mean, at least 70,000 people watched the one video. So
I'm just going to throw this out here. You pay me to listen to you for an hour babble about FreeNAS.
that's
so.
true. They don't always know what videos I'm doing, but you know that happens.
But we usually hear all of it anyways. So
Most consumer same amount of drives as server stuff. That's actually true. There is a commonality between the consumer hard drives and that. There are differences, and that's been on my to-do list as well. I don't know if Linus Tech Tips has done a video on talking about the difference
like
between
consumer versus enterprise drives.
Yeah. There's some physical differences between them, and we have some drives we haven't crushed yet.
Yeah.
And I might take them apart and kind of show
And
the
we
differences.
actually just acquired some enterprise drives too, and we have a ton of consumer drives. So
Yeah, and I'll show you the differences because we have their cousins, the consumer cousins. Sometimes there's very minimal difference between them. The algorithms that get flashed to the controller are one of the differences on some of them. So when they say that drives like recommended for NAS and recommended for RAID, there's a difference in the algorithm that goes into the chipset. For example, for timeouts and things like that.
that's why you have like your storage drives that are specifically meant for writes and not a lot of reads.
Yep. So there's a few different things like that. So FreeNAS running on my home server. I read that Mellanox ConnectX-2 isn't compatible. The way you figure out what's compatible, like the Mellanox cards or any of those, you go to the free BSD version that FreeNAS is based on. I forget which version it is, because I think there's a slightly newer version of FreeBSD out, and FreeNAS is like half a version or 0.1 step behind, or maybe they're at parity right now. I haven't looked in a while. Look at their compatibility list. If it's compatible with the FreeBSD, which is the kernel that FreeNAS is based on, you should have full support for that card within FreeNAS. Their support is outstanding. There's a lot of it out there. So enterprise or noisier? Not necessarily. The Dell R710, which is an enterprise level server, is actually really
Yeah,
quiet.
it's quite quiet.
Yeah.
Except for the time Tom opened the side and made it angry.
Yeah, I made it really angry. We left the cover off and it got really loud.
It had it had the intrusion detection, and you intruded on it.
I chewed on it. We found, and you can go check this on eBay, there's a company in there, someone mentioned them before, but it was cheaper to buy it from eBay than it was to buy it from their building, because I looked this morning. Actually, they don't even have those servers. They have a sale on them right now. If you want to get an R710, they have some R710s with 12 gigs of RAM and 4 300 gig hard drives for only $249, including shipping. And it's got Xeon 5760, a pair of them. So these are hyper-threaded 24 cores. So 12 cores between the two processors, hyper-threaded to 24, and it's a really fast server for $250. And it's quiet and easy to find parts for. If
It's
you
now
look
what
stuff
we're
up.
running.
Yeah, it's actually what runs our stuff.
Yep.
And we've run it on there. FreeNAS versus Synology? Oh, come on, FreeNAS. All the way, all day long.
I mean, he only does how many videos about FreeNAS?
There's a reason.
There might be a bias.
Yeah, it might be a little biased. Now, I got to admit, unless someone wants to mail me a QNAP, a Synology, and make me sit down and do head-to-heads with all of them, cool. But I did have an interesting conversation, and he's actually a follower of the YouTube channel. He talked to us. He's buying a TrueNAS, and we've sold a few of these TrueNAS products. He's got some type of a company in California that does backups or something like that. He kind of in the same similar market that we are for his area, but he actually holds on to all their storage in there.
So he does local backups.
Kind of, yeah, local backups. He's got 2 data centers in
Okay.
2 different cities in California. And he is very unhappy with all the different products he's tried except for FreeNAS. So he's slowly migrated away from QNAP, Synology, and EMC. He didn't even like the Dell EMC servers. He just says, the best servers he has are the FreeNAS ones. And that led him, he goes, how can a free product outperform these damn expensive-ass things I bought? And he bought high-end stuff because he's talking about his latest one's like another 78 terabyte server he's buying. So he moved over and he went ahead because he wants to support. He says, I'm getting older and I want to support for this or something. So he's buying the TrueNAS product. And that's why he called me, because he seen we did the review of it. And he was already in the process of the sale, but he wanted to talk to someone who had actually used it. And so I have not done a head-to-head comparison, but people like him, and I've talked to other people like him and in the forums and on the phone, they're very all in on FreeNAS, TrueNAS, and are way happier with it compared to some of the other products. Tell them what you do here.
Whatever else we got going on. I helped load the laptops for the Penguin Con.
Oh yeah, he did. He helped image PenguinCon laptops.
Yep, that was fun.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. You helped Corey with that wiring job too.
Yep. Set up a wireless bridge to a pool house. That was pretty cool. Very nice house.
Oh yeah. These are a couple of videos I got to catch up on. I think that they'll let me film their house, which would be cool because we did.
Really?
We just did more Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, Wi-Fi's. We did more Wi-Fi, so they built a pool house. The construction crew and the bulldozers just to build their fire pit. You didn't see what they built like hey, cool campfire pit, right? No. It took 2 bulldozers and a team to build this thing. It's huge. Like it's
Oh my god.
Should we talk about the wires getting cut?
Which ones?
The wires that just got cut.
The Corey's job?
Yeah.
Oh, that's just another disaster.
That is a disaster, but it's amusing.
Did they actually cut him?
Oh yeah, they cut him.
Did they cut him?
I don't know.
That's what he said.
Okay, it was back and forth of whether or not they were going to cut him. It was like a threat. So we did a job, and we don't do many residential jobs.
For a reason.
For a reason. God, yeah.
But this was a remodel, so it was supposed to be
It's supposed to
better.
be good because it's a remodel job, and the owner of the business bought a new house. Bought a used house, I guess. Is that how that works?
And is now making it new.
He's now making
like
it
new.
So
Mint
while
condition.
it was all tore apart, we went and wired a bunch of stuff. The contractor shows up livid that we're doing any work there because he's got more work he wants to do. And we're like, well, the walls are taken out. That's why we're doing our part. And he said, well, I guess run the wires here, go around this.
Yeah, he was like, I'm going to have to put in like a 3-foot beam here. And so Corey made room for a 3-foot beam. And then they put in a not 3-foot beam. I heard it was a 4-foot beam. And so he just cut his wires because they were in the way.
Yeah. So it's just, they just went and cut it. After they told us where to put it, 2 days later, contractor just slices the wires. So.
And to be clear, like the day that he came and told us not to run the wires, we did call the owner of the house, said it's my house, put the wires in, and pretty much
There
said,
was
go
more
ahead.
colorful language.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
sure.
there's
I'm
so
making
much
it.
swearing.
Yes, it's my house. Put the wires in. So we put the wires in, and then the contractor cut them.
Yeah.
It's my expletive house. Put the expletive wires in it.
Yeah.
I don't care what that expletive says. Yeah.
What do you guys think of Sonic Wall firewalls?
They're horrible.
We were just talking about those today.
We were telling how much we hate them just an hour ago.
Terrible.
They have a cool name.
They have a cool name, Sonic Wall.
Yeah, I like the name.
They license you for everything.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people like them so much, except for the fact that they have a
They've-
really good sales partner channel to
They've
make
got the
commissions.
microtransaction. Like
That's
it's $9.95 a month to activate this feature.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we had an aggravation just the other day, and another one that we're hating on Sonic Wall so many times because they already hate the IT company, so we're trying to take over. But the IT company won't give us any information on the Sonic Wall. They sold it to them and licensed it to them, and for a lot of money, they're charging them. I think it's $80 a month for a small office, just for a couple things. I looked up what they pay in licensing fee a year. The license for what they're paying $80 a month for is $200 annually. I mean, mark up things however you want, but now they won't give them the password to it, so the license will expire. So we have to sell them a no firewall. But they're so hating the other IT company because you call them, it takes them 2 or 3 days to get back with anyone. So they're like, we're so done with those people, and none of this transition part surprises us.
And I really don't understand how other companies operate that way. Like, how do you take 2 hours to respond to a company?
Yeah, proprietary firewalls are just
Horrible.
Where do you see it sell? Look up the R710 on eBay. That they were really cheap on eBay. It hasn't arrived yet, so I'm only telling you what the price was. I can't tell you what the quality is until it's here.
Give us a few days.
It's like birds living in it. We don't know.
Yeah, it turns out the company's in Michigan, which is a big bonus because it's only 30 miles away from here, and they don't do local pickup, and I'm too lazy to drive that far, so it's supposed to arrive here in a couple days, and I'll let you know if it turns on. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of it. Like, I think they probably make an okay firewall functionally wise, but when it comes to configuring them and setting them up, Sonic Wall, like,
No.
do they work? Yeah. Well, except for that one that died. But
Except for the
They
one.
don't even just, you can't even really say they just work. They just work as long as you stay within the confines of this little box. Oh, you bought one for 5 users. God forbid your printer connects before you do.
Oh, yeah. Because you have to
yeah.
license the amount of connections you can connect to the firewall.
I don't know
Yeah.
if they ever changed that.
they did.
So we did have a
Okay.
company where they were like, yeah, we have 3 people in the office, so we only need 5 users, except their printer's connected as well. So every time something would reboot or a computer would reboot, the printer would pick up the IP and grab the connection.
Yeah.
Now, it's on my to-do list. Edge routers with UNMS. Someone asked about it. I think Willie may have done a video on UNMS. I haven't done any real testing to tell you
software.
how good it works. We're still a big fan of the Ubiquity management method for the UniFi product line. It seems really nice. We do have some edge routers deployed. Here's the thing about firewalls.
I like it.
I've got an AirCube at home. I don't mind setting up UNMS at home and testing it for you if you want, if the company wants to provide an edge router.
Yeah.
Well,
No, that's fine. No, the UNMS is on my to-do list to set one up and
The
build
edge
it out.
routers came way down.
They did.
Yeah, the edge routers. I think the edge are nice. Marvin is representing me for those of you that are late to this.
What?
Oh. PS Sense. I found it difficult.
I was
to
like,
do
Marvin's
QoS.
not here. How's he representing him?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's representing me. Well, not
Somewhere
here.
else.
Somewhere else.
Okay.
in spirit.
Uncle Skeet, thank you for the $1.99. I love it.
Get some Rally's fries.
We are going to buy French fries with that. Actually, you can get a couple of them because that's the second time he sent us money.
Oh, nice.
2 sets of French fries.
2 sets of French fries.
I always wanted an uncle to send me money.
In a non-weird way.
No. Now,
At least this
OpenVPN.
time it's not hush money.
I will talk about this. OpenVPN. I use OpenVPN day in and day out in pfSense. I can set it up like next yes, boom, boom, done. Amazing, works. Everything else I have found difficult when it comes to OpenVPN.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen. Maybe Meraki or one of those other companies has, or
A
Cisco,
tool.
that might be nice for that. So some of the other commercial ones probably have a tool that's good for OpenVPN, like Cisco AnyConnect or something like that. But I'm sorry, I'm a UniFi fanboy. I love them. I love the engineers. I love the products they make. Their VPN,
It's
yeah.
high. It's not
it's
impressed.
It's not pfSense. I'm sorry. They are getting there.
The
So-
L2TP on it seems really easy to set up. Now, they are great, like the USGs. If you have multiple sites with USGs, you can just tell them talk to each other and it'll just do it.
Now that part's cool.
magic.
The magic between 2 USGs is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But when you want to do like the
A site-to-site
site-to-site end user deployment stuff,
I didn't even see a way to do. I looked through them a bit. I didn't see a way to do it so that you could have a different IP address it would come in on, just to prevent issues with multiple sites using the same ranges. Now, the USG does support that if you use the L2TP. So I can have you come in on something out of the normal range so that it doesn't conflict.
I don't know. pfSense bad for QoS. I actually find that to be the opposite. I find pfSense good for QoS.
Great for
And
QoS.
didn't you say it has multiple QoS options as
It's
well?
got a lot. It has a very in-depth QoS system. It's not magical. You have to configure it. It doesn't just.
pfSense is best QoS.
Yes, pfSense is best QoS. As an MSP, you shouldn't have all the sites using the same ranges. And that's probably true too. Untangle. I actually take the step back. Untangle and what's that other firewall we haven't used in a long time? It's like Untangle. It's another Linux-based firewall. There's a couple Linux-based firewalls that all have a very common VPN export utility. It's been a long time since I used them, but probably Untangle uses the same one. Yeah, they actually do have a nice VPN setup. I just haven't used those tools in a while. I want to do some testing with Untangle. A lot of people seem to like it. It looks nice. It seems like a nice product. It's something I want to look at. So, what hardware do you guys use for small business? Those Netgate SG3100, is that the model? There's one, don't bother in getting it, but I'm just saying.
I you.
But isn't that a 3100?
Yeah, I think so.
That sounds familiar.
I've done a
Sounds
recent
about
review.
right.
It's whatever one I did read. It's like 349.
How small are we talking? I guess
If they have less than 100 users, that SG3100 is just.
because I mean, we got some companies that have 5, and we just put in an edge router because
Yeah.
they don't have phones, they don't need the QoS.
They don't need
it's
any
just-
features. Like, this is great. So is
Yeah.
the USG. Little small offices
Yep.
that the USGs work good. These work good.
When you're not doing anything really complex.
When
the
you don't
USG
need
is fine.
QoS, when you don't have VoIP phones,
You don't
when
need a bunch of firewall stuff.
You don't need
that.
VPN. You just need a security device to put between you and the internet.
Yeah. Nextcloud is great. I haven't run it. I've messed around with it. I haven't done any videos or done it. I do like Nextcloud. It's great. We're very Google-fied. As much as I'm an open source advocate, we do use Google a lot because it integrates
works.
well with everything
That's
we
kind of
have.
the problem. It just works.
It works
Yeah.
really, really well on our phones and
Yeah.
things like that. And one of the hangups is we do so much from our phones, it kind of makes it a pain to switch. And I haven't checked, but I'm sure the apps have gotten substantially better for Nextcloud on the app system for the phones and mobile. So, yeah. It's annoying. It doesn't rely on just ports for traffic shaping. It can do.
It's smart.
It's smart.
It uses math.
It uses math.
It does.
Math and stuff.
Yeah, math.
It uses math to do traffic shaping.
It can prioritize it based on traffic type. It can identify and.
Yeah. Do we use an old license? Yeah, we have the original. Well, we've actually expanded it for Screen Connect.
That's where I thought this was going.
Yeah. We still are under. We bought it back in the olden days, but because we bought more licenses, I don't know what license we're on now.
We are on the weird Franken license.
Yeah.
Yeah, they like us. So actually,
We're grandfathered in.
We've done some reviews of it. We're grandfathered in, but we bought more licenses too. So because we've expanded, it still works.
Do we have more than?
One of
do we
my
still-
things now, the Screen Connect people. I don't know that anyone else has done this, but we use Let's Encrypt, and the Screen Connect people. I remember the engineer telling me he thought that was pretty cool. We know at least a few of them. I don't know if they're watching now, but we know a few of the engineers follow our channel because we've done some Screen Connect reviews. And I plan to do another one. But we run it through an Apache proxy with Let's Encrypt. That way we don't have to deal with installing the certs and doing all that. And I suggested that, hey, you guys should look at just building this into there. I mean, Let's Encrypt's free, save you all the licensing, and auto-renews and makes life really easy. So
I actually had a friend who works in IT, and the company he worked for was getting ready to switch over to it, and I told him, you're going to love it. And he did.
yeah, they were good.
Better than TeamViewer.
Yeah. Sophos, I don't know this, and someone's commenting on the speed. When you start virtualizing firewalls, there's just a lot of
Variables?
yes. In some of the QoS, because some of the if you're using pfSense, it can control, like with the Intel cards, part of the QoS is using the chips to handle the packet streams. That is a feature that goes away under certain circumstances when you virtualize the firewall. So it gets more tricky.
Well, then we come back to that, newfangled word, or that really popular word right now, hardware pass-through.
Yeah.
How much of that
hardware
can be passed through to that?
Yeah. And then I know Proxmox, people always like to talk about it. I mean, I don't hate on Proxmox. I only played with it a little while, and I said I didn't care for it. I moved to XCP-NG for everything. But I know Proxmox has some hardware pass-through options, and that kind of solves some of the problems. So instead of virtualizing the hardware, you pass it through to the virtual machine. with an abstraction layer, and that solves that. We use Screen Connect, which is also called ConnectWise Controls. So they still have their ScreenConnect.com, it's still their website, but it redirects you.
They
when you
rebranded.
They rebranded. Well, they got bought by ConnectWise.
Yeah.
So it's now called ConnectWise Control. That's the stuff we're using. So
It does work amazingly though. We host
Love
our
it.
own, but it's awesome.
what do we recommend for offsite home backup? Like for home users, iDrive. We got a
Yeah.
sign up link on our thing. For home users, it's kind of a
Also
great-
works great.
Yeah.
Just works
at
great.
The,
Yeah.
At the moment, for about the price of a new external drive every year, you get, what is it, like 2 terabytes of
Yeah.
cloud storage?
2
with-
terabytes.
With revisions, with incremental backups.
Yep.
And their
The
software is intuitive and easy to use
Yeah.
for the average consumer.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
only thing you have to make sure of when it pops up in your in the corner of your thing, or if
Update
you
it.
put it on a server you don't look at a lot, update it, because as their security updates, it will fail login and then stop doing backups because it can't log in.
So just update it regularly because it doesn't auto update just in case something goes haywire, but it works.
You can also
well.
use the free version to do local backups that are encrypted,
Yeah. Because I think
but you still
Free
own
users
the
get what,
drive
like
that
5
your
gigs?
backups on. Yeah.
there is a free account if you want to test it. iDrive has a free version that is something like 5 gigs of cloud storage.
Do you
Give it
still
a
get
shot.
the extra half a gig if you click our link?
I think so. I think there's a bonus if you follow our link.
5.5 gigs if you click our link.
Yeah.
I use it. I love it. I back up the Arc server, Minecraft server.
See, oh, where do you guys go? And
Pixar.
that's a source service for a fair price, looking for enterprise grade free NAS and VMs for your home network. I've been happy with ServerMonkey. Go to our affiliates we love, and it'll give you a discount on your purchase for ServerMonkey. We've actually used them to buy a handful of servers. We're for clients that need refurbished servers at a budget.
And they warranted the processor.
I tell you what, we talked
Overnight.
about this. Not just overnight. They didn't just overnight this.
It was, like 12 hours, if that?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's part of it. But what makes it really cool is the fact that we missed the. I know. I'm gonna have to break this thing.
God,
I
that's the
missed
broken one.
FedEx as I got to work at 8:35, and FedEx was here as 8:25. And ServerMonkey, seeing that they attempted delivery, contacted me and says, "I'll get them to bring it back." And they called FedEx on my behalf, and they brought it back. That's why they came back later.
That's weird that was the next door not open?
8:30 a.m. They don't open until 9 next door.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah.
I know that usually
not
they
here
do.
that early.
We have a nice neighbor that sometimes takes our mail when we're
Yeah.
not here in the morning.
I thought I did ban Bush Laden. Hold on. Report. I did it
mean-
once.
Man.
7-Eleven was a part-time job.
7-Eleven was a part-time job. You're going away, Bush Laden. All right.
Oh boy.
Apple or Microsoft? What? Linux.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Linux.
he's gonna say neither. The rest of us are probably gonna say Microsoft if you have to.
I mean, Microsoft if you have to because you got games to play.
That-
Linux.
actually
one.
that.
I got a lot of games to
I,
play.
Yeah, dude,
I ain't
bias towards the
proud, but I
games.
got a Windows gaming server at home.
Yeah.
I ain't proud of it, but I'll admit it.
There are actually very few things that I think I couldn't live without in Microsoft's. Like, I like my games. I like a couple other programs that don't have Linux support, but for the most part, day to day, it's amazing.
Just my games.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
Pretty
games. Someone asked, do I use Linux Mint? I don't, but my co-host on a Sunday Morning Linux Review podcast, Tony, does. He loves Linux Mint. I never really looked at it. I said, it's cool.
Right now, you're still using Pop OS.
I'm
aren't
still
you?
using Pop OS. It just works so smooth and is pretty. I don't know why a couple fonts tickled my fancy.
Wiggly
and
windows.
it just works.
The wobbly windows. Is that still there?
How am I not banning this person?
It's a slippery snake.
Remove. How do we get rid of Bush Laden?
Message deleted.
Yeah, all you're doing is removing his messages, not the user.
I know, but I reported him as a spammer. I guess hide user? Here, we do that.
I think that just works for you.
Okay,
We'll
whatever.
see.
There.
We don't know how this works.
I don't know how
Yeah.
this works. How do you ban people?
You don't know. You've actually never really had to do this before, have you?
AMD or Intel? So, I gotta admit, AMD was behind the times until the Threadripper.
Well,
And now they're throwing some serious shade
Well, the
at
Ryzens
Intel.
in general.
yeah,
The
yes and
Ryzens.
no.
Yeah.
So before the Ryzens and the new 50-50. Intel made the better higher end processor, but at price to performance, I'd take the AMD because I could get an 8320 with the MSI Gaming 970 motherboard out the door under $200. And I used to see people coming in all the time and they're like, well, my friend recommended I get this i5 that scores a K lower on the benchmarks, and just the cost of the i5 is the cost of the board and processor for AMD. I'm like, you're going to spend, a significant amount more. But when you got to the enthusiast level, Intel just made a much better processor.
And when you got to the server level, AMD wasn't even in the game.
No, and now with the newer stuff, for servers, still Intel. For newer builds, it's really neck and neck. I just looked at a couple the other day and did a comparison between one of the i3s and the Ryzen 3 2200G. The i3 scores a little bit high. Like I think it's the i3 8100 or 8300, whatever. The i3 scores a bit higher than the Ryzen. But the Ryzen comes with integrated graphics built right in.
That's
Vega graphics.
In the softmark benchmarks is what he's talking about, the
Yeah.
scores. But yeah, you have to remember it has integrated graphics.
And it's like $20 cheaper than the Intel still.
That for now.
But the Intel scores roughly 1,500 points higher.
So now I'm going to ask Tom, because you may have looked at this more. How do you feel about the Epics versus Xeons? Have the Epics done anything that interests you? Or
Yeah, they look like they're a well-made processor.
Yeah.
It's still sketchy until they're really proven.
The Optrons looked good on paper.
Yeah, that's the thing. The Optrons look good on paper too, and a lot of people. We actually have an Opteron.
As long as
server.
that paper
Is
wasn't your power bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that another server we have that we're decommissioning an Opteron?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an older Opteron.
That Opteron feels.
12 cores?
Yeah, I think it's a 12-core Opteron.
Yeah.
It feels like a blow dryer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
12 cores and
That
about
thing is
1,200
insanely
degrees.
hot. Yeah, it is insanely hot. And that's why it's our backup server, just in case, because we had it. And but it's just awful.
We
in
should put it
terms
right
of
outside the bathroom.
Watt performance.
Let's dry our hands.
Yeah.
No kidding. So yeah, I'm not
Is
a
it
big.
like
Yeah.
180 watts or something for that thing?
So the jury's still out on the Epics because they
Yeah.
sound good, but we don't have any real data for them.
No. But I've been happy. I've built a few Ryzen systems already.
They're nice.
I am happy with them. The only thing I don't like is we're stuck at kind of the Intel. One of the problems I had with Intel, when Intel released the Z270 chipset, I think it was the 7th gens that were supposed to go to it, and but you could also use that processor in a Z170. But if you bought a board that was a Z170, you needed a BIOS update, and there wasn't always a way to do it. You either had to send the board back or have an older processor laying around. And now
long story short, pretty much
Yeah.
when the new generation of chips came out, the boards didn't support them until
Yeah.
the BIOS update. So if you happen to buy an older board and a newer
Yes.
chip, and you pop that chip in there, theoretically it works, except you need a BIOS update. But you can't update the
Yeah.
BIOS without a working CPU.
That's not any shorter.
Well, yeah, but it makes more sense than
Yeah.
what you said.
Well, the same
Yeah.
problem with the Ryzens. If you get like a 2nd gen Ryzen because of the onboard graphics, you need an updated BIOS or the newer chipset. And a lot of the boards already had support for them to have integrated graphics, but you need the BIOS update. I guess Asus offers to send you a 1st gen Ryzen as a loaner.
A loaner Ryzen.
Yeah. See, Asus, from what I read, will send you a loaner Ryzen, or you can send the board in to get it updated. It's one of those odd problems of buying them online. You don't know what BIOS it's shipping with. And
Yeah, then you have to go, is this, was this one the model from after 2012, like
Yeah.
January? And obviously not, but like 2017. So,
And things are going to get a lot more complicated very, very quickly for Intel because
what are they doing now?
it's not they did, not what they're doing.
planning.
There's at the updated Black Hat is going to be a big bombshell drop that microcode won't fix. So you can take your cues from the open source industry.
Are you
PCBSD,
just turning off hyperthreading on all the things now?
they're turning off hyperthreading and all the things
Okay.
because they found the flaw in hyperthreading, and it's using the algorithm they wrote with 98% accuracy. So with the hyperthreading, you have the cores and the hyperthreaded core. They found out that the hyperthreaded core can run a program to figure out what's in the core next to it. with
Yeah.
98% accuracy. They were able
Makes
to break encryption keys with it
Yeah.
at that level of accuracy.
Oh,
The solution was
Does this affect AMD?
Turn them off.
Right.
I'm not
That's
clear
actually
on that.
that's been the speculation is will AMD get hit with the
It looks like it
ban
doesn't.
hammer for that as well?
Okay.
They said based on, again, this is like forum comments that I've been reading, so take all this with a grain of salt. They said that AMD implements the hyperthreading a little bit differently, so at the moment it doesn't seem susceptible, but they're also saying just give it time.
Yeah, give it time because these edge attacks that we're trying at the hardware level attacks, and once these guys have found the security research start finding the problems in the core, it becomes a very big deal. So first, turning it off, there's one problem. Second problem is there's no microcode update to fix it like there were for Spectre and Meltdown. Spectre and Meltdown did a microcode update, and what the microcode pushed into the CPU mitigates most of those problems. So that's wonderful, but the thread problem is a completely cache design flaw they're exploiting. It's at the chip level of the way the cache is designed. So the way you fix it is rewrite all the software that runs on all the systems. At the kernel level, you have to tell systems to not run encrypted high secure things in the same adjacent cores to each other. So it's
I wonder how that affected the module design of the FX series.
yeah. So there's
Because of the shared cache space there.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just there's gonna be a lot of work and engineering that's gonna go into this. The PCBSD guys are high on security is the utmost importance. So they preemptively disabled in the kernel hyperthreading. So that's the preemptive. Now it's the person who did it. He's under NDA. He recently wrote an article about what he can disclose about the upcoming problem for it, but he's under NDA until the CVE publish date. So yeah, it's going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess. What do you think about RAM fixing lawsuits in China? Didn't read that one. You found something I didn't read.
Which is
No, virtualization doesn't. Virtualization is kind of the attack vector. That's what makes this so worrisome. Most of these attack vectors is worrisome for the cloud infrastructure, not your computer. It's less likely that a rogue program would be running on your computer to find the problem, or even in our server stack, because we set up all the software on our server stack. But when you run something in the cloud,
shared hosting is the
shared
problem.
hosting is
Yeah.
exactly where these attacks are going to go. So that's where
We share adjacent processor cache space. I'm
Yes.
reading his data.
right. And this is how Rowhammer and a lot of those other attacks, if you want to dig into some of them, or Flip Feng Shui. Flip Feng Shui it's all data center level attacks. It's figuring out adjacent code in there because if you have a whole series of VMs running, they're undoubtedly going to be very similar VMs in the same stack. So I can efficiently process them. Guess what? They're all processing keys. Hey, maybe they're a group of web servers. So they all are running the same stuff. And then that's how you can compress them. That's how you can create the, what do they call that? Where you do the thin provisioning with the VMs. They use a thin provisioning system that allows the compression because there's all the common libraries are the same. So it just goes crazy. It's going to be a mess. But it'll be a fun mess. And that's why we love technology.
Did you read about the new WordPress vulnerability?
Oh, the new WordPress one. Yeah, you brought that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, AWS performance is going to drop again. Yeah, that was actually the result. So
Yeah.
the microcode update that fixed Spectre Meltdown caused a performance update because you disabled features by forcing it to flush the cache out each time to avoid it. Now you get fewer cache hits and you lose some level of performance on certain.
Now you're losing
Compute
entire
time.
half your virtualized cores.
Yeah.
Yeah, because common processes can easily cache and anyways. So may get
WordPress?
fined about $8 billion. WordPress
Yeah.
vulnerability. There's that WordPress vulnerability found, and it's a privilege escalation. So you have to take a user with author level privilege, and you can grant them admin level privilege.
Actually, no. Anybody that has author level access or higher that can upload
Oh,
images
okay.
can then also they have the privilege to remove images. But you can actually go in and I only briefly read about it. It looks like they can go in and change what file gets deleted when they hit the delete button for a picture, and then they can go ahead and delete something like the WordPress config file, which sets the site back to setup mode, so the next time you load the page, you can go in and give your own credentials for the database and everything and set the site up again yourself and then pass
Neat.
whatever you want through it. So you have to already be a user with at least author level credentials, which is why it's a big deal and it's not, because you already have to be in the site.
On the one hand, it's a little bit of a big deal because I can completely take control of your site. On the other hand, I was an author and could have completely changed your site anyway.
Yeah, but you shouldn't have been able to get access to
Yeah.
the WordPress like config files. It lets you
never give
Yeah.
somebody like me access to that.
Yeah, so it lets you kind of jump out of the bounds that you're supposed to in WordPress. And from what I had read, it actually was brought up to WordPress back in, I want to say it was November of 2017, and they haven't done anything about it yet. So the security company that actually discovered it put out an unofficial patch that you could run on WordPress, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a mess.
so you have to be in. I guess that's why they don't consider it a huge deal, because you're already in.
Yeah.
But it still lets you get access to things you're not supposed to, even as an author.
I feel like they'd be able to figure out who did it pretty easily, though, right?
Well, yeah,
Not
no, because
necessarily.
once you reset the WP config
Yeah.
file, you'll lose all that.
You
That's
lose the
right.
logs.
You lose all the logs of how the hell it happened.
Oh, that's bad.
Nintendo Switch, Xbox, or PS4?
So
Switch.
I have not played on a Switch.
Look, we're not console peasants here, so move on.
The reason the
Right.
Switch is because of the Nintendo's IP. You can't get their games on anything else. Most of the stuff on an Xbox One or PS4, I can get on Steam for under half the price, with better graphics and more support and mods and all the bells and whistles.
I own a PS4. And
Final Fantasy 15 Windows Edition. We don't have DLCs. We just here's everything.
But it did come out a year later or a year and a half later. But
I didn't
when
think
it
it
did,
was that long.
It's been a while.
I don't
Yeah.
When it came out, though, it came out with everything. There was no DLC. I have a PS4. I've used it twice in the last year. There's a couple good exclusives. I'll give them that. Some of their exclusives are really fun. I loved
Like the
Horizon
one-
Zero Dawn.
Yes.
I
Yep.
love that game. But is it worth buying a $300 console for 1 or 2 games?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
That being said, looking at the Switch, it's almost the same price, but
Yeah.
I look at the list of games going, I want that, can't play it on Steam. I want that, can't play it on Steam. I want that, it's on
Legend
Steam,
of
but,
Zelda,
but I love
Dragon
being able to
Quest
take
Builders,
it with me.
Right. It's way more convenient.
Yeah, I love my
It's-
3DS even, but the price of games kills me.
I have a Shield tablet, but it's not fun playing games on it because there's no easy way to control. You have to set it up somewhere and then sit in front of it with a controller, or plug it into a TV and play with a controller, or you have this Switch, which just buttons right there. It's convenient.
Speaking of 3DS.
They know how to do handheld consoles.
They really do. The Vita was awesome, though.
I did like
It
the
was.
Vita.
The fact that it had multi-app support, you could run Skype on it while in a game.
You could hack the crap out of it.
They were fun.
Not if you're past a certain firmware.
Yeah.
Womp
They
womp.
were fun,
Yeah, why
but
would they do that?
same issue.
Because they don't want you hacking the Vita.
Yeah, you're not supposed to.
But why?
I don't know. Because they want to cripple their sales and then ultimately offload the thing because
If
nobody's
you
buying
know that
it.
you can do these things with the Vita, people would buy it.
Anyway.
The real problem is they're trying to fight things like piracy and letting people know their code. That's why they took away. That's why they lost the lawsuit and took away Linux support in the PS3s, because somebody used the fact that you could load Linux on a PS3 to figure out how to unlock them. That's how they used that process to jailbreak
I was
them.
not aware of that.
Yeah, that's why they removed it,
Wow.
because the damage was done. It had already been hacked, but
Right, you can't just take them back.
yeah.
So, that's a shame.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Next question.
Next
yeah,
question.
that one.
That was
That
a
was
topic,
fun.
but we're all gamers, so that was
Yeah.
a fun.
Yeah, let's
Digression.
dive into that. I can't remember if I had anything else I want to talk about, or if it's just time to wander off and get other work done.
No, we got like 50 minutes left. Let's go.
Okay, do we? Oh.
It's 6:07. I'm counting we have 50 minutes left.
Oh, okay. They don't want to do anything for the rest of the day is kind of the goal. We officially close at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that is 53 minutes from now. So if we can do nothing else but vlog on for 53 minutes, what do
Yes.
we can't. We gotta be like those vloggers that talk about nothing for.
We just
That's
talk about
most of
video
them.
games for 55
Yeah,
minutes.
I'll zone out.
That's
zone out.
okay. You could just leave. You want
Well,
to
let's
go
start-
home. You sound like
do
you
you-
want to go
we'll just
home
hide.
already.
Do you have any questions about Destiny? I mean,
Yeah.
You have questions about that? Yeah. Tom's an idiot and doesn't know where Mars is. We've established that.
Yeah.
That's great.
We got to go to Mars. 30 minutes later, I'm still on Earth. Guess we're just doing Earth today.
the next day, where's Mars?
Where's Mars?
We came into the shop. Where's Mars?
Mercury. It was Mercury.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he didn't see it at the top because it's the icon for the fact that you have quests there is bigger than the planet.
Yeah.
That is a little confusing.
It is.
I was confused. I'm less confused now. Best cell phones? Look.
Best cell phone prices.
Now, Kyle's much more of our phone expert.
I like that phone. If it wasn't for the fact that that phone was twice as much as mine,
Yeah.
I would have
He would
got
have
the
it.
Pixel 2 XL.
So, Pixel 2 XL, absolutely one of the best smartphones I had. It will probably only be outdone by the
Pixel 3 XL?
Pixel 3 XL. This phone has been wonderful. I've been using Google Fi for a few years now, and that I am absolutely no reason to switch. Matter of fact, I'm actually happy with them. It's not like I feel like I tolerated other phone companies and problems. I feel like I enjoy using Google Fi because it just damn works.
And I'm still using the Xiaomi Mi Mix 2.
That's a nice phone he has.
I have to say, because I like cell phones, I like weird and slightly unique cell phones. I'm a big fan of the Chinese cell phone market. Their weird ROMs aside, and maybe security concerns, I can't say for certain.
see that.
I will say that they have the most innovation right now. They have the most unique
I
stuff.
saw that too.
The
It's,
motorized cameras on some of the new ones, like the Vivo
$5
phone
for the Steam Link, $8
and
to ship
the
it, and GameStop's
the
not
new
matching
Oppo
the prices
phone that
this
has the
time.
motorized cameras and pretty much all screen. They're
So you
very
can
cool.
actually zoom in.
No.
haven't
They're
done
not.
that,
They're not motorized in terms of focus. The cameras are hidden on these phones, and it's all screen in front. There's no front-facing camera, but when you open the camera app, there's a little motor that pushes the camera up. So it's
Really?
out of the way when you don't want it, and just there when you need it. Now the problem is what happens when the motor breaks. I don't know, but it's a cool idea.
I have a
Out
Note
with
3.
toothpick.
We were laughing. Someone pointed out. When the Steam Links were on sale for what was it, $10?
Look, I bought one for $15 and thought it was a steal.
They were on sale for 15.
We bought a
I
bunch of
bought 3 of them, and then
No,
they-
you bought one when it was 15.
No, I think I got more than one.
Okay.
I think I got 2 when they were
We have a few of
15.
them.
Then they hit, what was it?
And then it was $10.
Yeah, and GameStop was matching the price, but all the GameStops around here, because it's mostly council people who go there.
Or no, you picked one up for $5.
They only stock like one, and I ran around when they were $10. I think I got another one when they hit 5. I ran to like all the GameStops and kept buying them, and then GameStop was even matching the price with free shipping. So I'm like, well, ship me 2 of them to the office.
Yeah. So the MSRP on the Steam Links is $50.
Yeah.
Currently on sale on Steam's website, $2.50.
Yeah.
That being said, shipping is not free. You end up paying over $10 for shipping.
It's like 8 or 9
It's like
to ship.
$7.99 for shipping, so
Yeah.
you end up paying over $10 total, which is still great. If you have a computer that you game on and you don't want to always
I
game,
love 'em. I've gotten to
quality
the
is
point
amazing.
because they're so cheap. I got one in my basement, one in my office here. We got one up front.
They're a great tool. I mean, I don't play a lot of. What is the game that Battle Block Theater?
Yes.
That's another game I liked, and I liked playing that on my big TV.
Yeah.
So that was cool to have the Steam Link for at home, so I could sit on my couch and play it.
It's
So-
also really convenient. So I know we're talking about it in gaming aspect, but because it passes through the USB devices and the controllers that you have, you can also use it just to cast your desktop.
Yeah.
You have to do a little bit of a workaround to get
It's
it to
gotten
work.
a lot better actually.
But-
the latest update for Android controllers, if you're using like an Xbox or PS3 controller or anything like that, if you hold the home button in the center, it gives you mouse control.
Yeah.
Oh.
So here's the thing: if you want to just remote desktop to the other room, somewhere in the same network, you can actually just hook up like a wireless mouse and keyboard
Yeah.
to the Steam Link and then cast your desktop.
get out.
No.
I can't. I'm about to break a chair.
Just break the chair.
Hulk smash.
Hulk smash. Oh man. So, like I said, we're careening to the end of this because I actually have some other work to do.
I guess.
I know. Well, they actually will. You guys just gonna play video games.
And I was gonna say, at this point, we're talking about video games. Now we're gonna play video games. I
Yeah.
just recently bought Stardew Valley on sale. I'm not gonna have any life for a while.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you got it's a multiplayer thing or something.
The beta for Stardew Valley has
Yeah.
multiplayer, so we got him to play as Steve is playing. I don't like farming in real life. I don't see myself going out in the field and farming, but it's really fun to farm on a game that looks like it was from 20 years ago. I don't know.
Yeah, Stardew Valley is a pretty cool looking game. I have avoided it because it looks addicting.
I didn't think it would be.
I'm already obsessing with Destiny.
The first night I played it, I go, I guess this is pretty cool. And then I played it the second night, and then I started playing it on my own, not multiplayer, in my own map because I wanted to play more of it. Now that's what I play.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is the end of the vlog. Any other questions?
Anything important?
Probably nothing.
Yeah.
We're all worn out.
Anything else from Bush Laden?
Hopefully not.
We finally banned Bush Laden. He's now
Finally.
gone from the channel.
Oh.
I think I clicked the right button.
Oh, wow.
See, Stardew Valley on Steam Link, it's a thing.
It would work because it has controller support and you can mouse and keyboard on a Steam Link. So
Geek Squad, no, we're better than a whole squad of geeks. I'm gonna throw that out there.
that was our slogan for a while.
That was our slogan for a while. It's still our slogan somewhere. It's copyrighted, trademarked, or whatever. I don't know. I had it on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So I've only been doing this for 15 years. It's a long time.
It
I have
is.
It
worked
is
for
a long
myself longer than I worked for anyone else.
I know humans that are that have been alive longer or less
Yeah.
time than you've been doing just this.
I happen to be responsible for at least 2 humans that are.
Yeah.
Let me think. No, my daughter is 1 year older than my business.
Oh.
She was born a year before. And somehow I found time 5 years later to make a son, so you always gotta make time for that.
Always, absolutely.
Someone said play RimWorld.
RimWorld is awesome. These guys
Okay.
don't like it. It's like
I've never played it. I can't
You
say
got
I
a
don't
fan
like
of
it.
RimWorld over here at the end?
You got to try it. It's like an RTS.
They do things
style
on their
game.
own, correct?
They do things on their own.
Okay.
They have their own AI.
There's an AI. All right.
And each of them has their own little personality that gets generated, and hilarious things happen as a
Okay,
result of
okay.
it. So you end up having to fight with your peasants to get them to do the things they need to do to survive, and then you just say, screw it, do that, see what happens, and then
And then
it's
they don't
hilarious.
survive. Okay.
You got to give it a shot.
Fair enough.
Any advice to starting a business? I think I've done some talks on that. Look for my business talks. I'm going to do another video, because I know I haven't done this one yet, called Why You Shouldn't Start a Business. And it's kind of a good thing because one of me and my friend Eric...
Take it from a successful business owner. You don't want to start a business.
Just work for me. No, me and... I remember Eric Thompson said, I don't think I'd wish entrepreneurship on anyone. And he had said that before because there's its good sides, its bad sides, it's the obsessions that come with it, it's the obsessiveness you need to have to do it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people fail, and I think that's, if I can stop someone from failing from the get-go because they realize it's just not what they want to do and they don't realize it. And I'm going to start out with the same thing I say all the time. I hate my job is not a business plan. And a lot of people go, oh, I just don't like where I work. Well, work somewhere else. It doesn't mean you should just start a business because you work for 2 different people that sucked. That's not necessarily a reason. I worked for a few places that sucked. I worked some places that were good.
I worked for 2 different places that sucked, then I found Tom. I like
Yeah.
what I do.
So I have a pretty relaxed environment here, so it's not that bad.
Work for
So-
the right people.
Yeah, work for the right people. So and I think that's too many people to start with. I should. There's a lot of BS you have to deal with owning a business and payroll and taxes and laws and rules and customers argue with you, like stuff you don't necessarily have to deal with if you have a 9-to-5 job, or if you, an example of working in some of the corporate environments. As much as I dog and joke about not working in corporate anymore, I know people who love working in there and they've been able to create some amazing things, especially some open source developers who work for some very large companies. Linus Torvalds, who Linux is kind of named after, he's not exactly an entrepreneur either. He works for a company that allows him to work on the Linux kernel. That's the best thing for him. He wouldn't be as good at working on a Linux kernel, I'm guessing, if he had to deal with HR and payroll. Matter of fact,
Yeah.
he has to deal with HR in a very different way because Linus occasionally rants about things, by the way, so he's actually a problem for HR
Now,
occasionally.
what was your solution for HR?
Oh.
He gave it to Steve.
Because
Steve is unofficially our head of HR.
Yes.
Because most of the HR complaints are about Steve.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
one of those things. Most of the HR complaints about Steve. So what makes Steve main HR? Because
Well, what can we do to combat the fact, or overcome the fact that most of the complaints are about Steve?
just make Steve in charge of
Send
HR.
them all to Steve.
Send them all to Steve. That's what they want to complain about. And then we fired that guy. We fired a couple people. That happens.
Yeah.
Not everyone. I mean, I have a relaxed work environment. Then people abuse that, and they get fired. I know one of them's commented on a channel a couple of times. One of the ex-employees. I almost wanted to comment like, "You're still alive, huh?"
Yeah.
So that happens. Yeah. So nothing so much like a 9 to 5. Business owner, it's like a 5 to 9. Yeah, that's part of it too. There's not a time you lose any separation between am I working, is it not working, and what am I doing.
You're always working somehow. Even if you're not doing work-related things, you're still on duty.
Yeah, and it's because I can't define what I do. It's not like I can just define myself as I'm a guy who runs a tech company, because I'm not as monetarily motivated. I'm motivated by the puzzle of solving things, working with people, interacting with people. So my motivations are different. So it isn't just about the business and the money and stuff like that. So that comes down to, and it plays into what you want to do for a living. Starts with some of what your motivations are. Thomas Edison, I just finished that book Quirky, and we had a discussion about it. I want to do like a write-up on the book on Goodreads. But there's just things about, like, those people had trouble working for someone, and they actually didn't, because their goals were not monetarily driven. They were interesting entrepreneurs, and they were inventors, or they were business people, but maybe they shouldn't have been. And they just needed an environment to work in where they could invent or do things. And I'm actually kind of fine on that. If I would work for someone if they would just let me do what I do now.
Yeah.
And
It's harder finding places like that, though. There are some businesses now that are starting to foster innovation again, but for a while it was just the corporate machine.
yeah.
But-
And some companies you work for, like where my wife works, there's a high degree of teamwork and uniformity, and I always had a really hard time with that. It's company culture, the way they want it, dealt the way exactly how they want it, and that's not an environment I find creative, and it doesn't necessarily produce creative ideas. Look up multiplicative idiocy, and you'll understand what happens. Because if you take two half-wits and put them in a meeting,
You get a whole half-wit.
no, this is the thing. They think it's cumulative. It's not. It's multiplicative. So two half-wits don't equal a whole wit. It's quarter-wits at that point. They drag it down that much.
Yeah,
And you'll
okay.
understand once
Yep.
multiplicative inaccuracy. Because what happens is people want to be complacent and agree on things. So the only thing a group of people agree on is beige.
It's just
so,
it's just a fancy new word for groupthink.
Groupthink is awful. People thought it's like the next business thing. No. The best ideas are like one person. Steve Jobs was notorious for that. He did not care what the group thought at all. He told people. Now, unfortunately, there's people who also think they're Steve Jobs. He understood what people wanted and understood that they would want this phone without buttons concept that he had with the iPhone and a single button. There's people who are visionary. There's people who think they're visionary and make really just crap products. So, yeah. I don't know. I'm going to quit ranting about all that. I'm going to turn all this off. Where's that button at? Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
We're going to go to get working.